speaking of secessionist movements for self-determination, so how should Southern patriots react, in your opinion, to the many movements around the world today? Is there room for cooperative effort? Is there, as long as they're not fundamentally against us on certain principles, would you say that the principle, though, of secession, of the right to choose how one wants to live in a community, who they want to live with, do you think on that level we have room to cooperate with? We have friends in Ulster and South Africa, and even in Bolivia you hear about the centralized, the president there trying to centralize power, and in Georgia, the country of Georgia. Right. Do you think that there is a room for us to work together to get a certain message out there?
I think it's essential. You don't have to agree with all of the political ideas or philosophies of all the groups, not just in North America, but around the world, that are seeking devolution or secession or independence, whatever you want to call it. Because, well, for example, we support and have worked with the Vermont secessionist movement. And a lot of those people up in Vermont are very liberal. There are a lot of environmentalists and so on and so forth. Well, I could care less about how they want to live in Vermont, because I don't live there and I don't plan on living there. But I do agree that a distinct, organic people, has the right to determine how they're going to live without outside interference. And Southerners have always been good, and I think it's reflected in Jefferson Davis's remark about the South, what the South wants is to be left alone. Well, I think that's basically the way Southerners view the world. We have never tried to impose our way of living on other people. We don't tell them that they have to be like us, and we don't expect them to tell us that we have to be like them. So Southerners are a very generous people in those terms. If there are other groups around the North American continent, or in Europe or Asia or Africa or South America, that are seeking to devolve themselves from a tyrannical, centralized regime, they have our unqualified support as far as us recognizing their right and their desire to rule themselves and have their own culture, their own economy, their own political system, because we would be hypocrites not to do that, because this is what we espouse for ourselves, and we recognize the right of people everywhere to do this.
You could say that I'm sure you would say that that's a God-given right. That's a human right to be able to decide how you want to live with you.
Yeah, it really is. It's well, as we say in America, an unalienable right, which means it's a right that God has given to his creatures, and it's one of those rights that cannot be taken away from you. You can be restricted in your ability to exercise it by tyranny and the misuse of power, but the right can't be taken away from you. So yeah, I mean, this is one of those fundamental God-given rights.
As you said, it's hypocritical to deny somebody or a people the same right. It's almost along the same lines as to breathe. Someone breathing, denying someone else's air. It's something so basic that it just